For this anti-bullying week session, we're going to show you everything that is available for you to be able to get ready for anti-bullying week this year, which is coming up from 13th to 17th of November. We'll give you an opportunity to ask us any questions that you might have, and we'll share with you all of our resources. All our resources are provided free to schools across the UK, and all of the information that we'll be talking about are all free resources. So we're excited about what we can achieve for this anti-bullying week. So next slide, please, Pivy. Thank you. So just a very quick, brief bit of information about the Anti-Bullying Alliance. We coordinate the Anti-Bullying Week and Odd Socks Day each year across the country. We are based at a children's charity called the National Children's Bureau, and our mission is to reduce bullying of all children and young people and improve responses to bullying by uniting the anti-bullying sector against bullying. To do that, we have three key areas of work. One is our Anti-Bullying Week and other campaigning that we do. A second one is our practice improvement work. We have lots of free online training available, our free United Against Bullying programme as well, and lots of different resources and reports that are available on our website. And finally, we have the area of policy improvement. So we work with government across the UK to improve policy related to anti-bullying work. Next slide, please, Pivy. I think I'm handing over to you to talk about what is bullying, what is Anti-Bullying Week and how you can get involved. But before we do, just if you want to put in the chat where you're from, what school you're from, just that'd be great to see. And please do put any questions that you might have in the chat. And these resources will be sent to you. A video will be made available of this event as well after the session. So over to you, Pivy.
Thank you very much, Martha. So Anti-Bullying Week is an annual event which takes place on the third week in November each year. And each year we have a different theme for the campaign. And the campaign aims to raise awareness of bullying of children and young people in schools and elsewhere, and also highlight ways of responding and preventing it. So as Martha said, this year the campaign will take place on from Monday the 13th to Friday the 17th of November, and it kicks off with Odd Socks Day on Monday 13th of November. This year's theme is Make a Noise About Bullying. Too often people are silent when about bullying and its impact, especially when we hear bullying dismissed as just banter. So we're urging people to speak to someone if they're being bullied, and not to be a silent bystander if they see bullying happening to someone else. And Lucy will talk a bit more about bullying and banter and the difference. Our sub-theme, if you like, is bullying and banter and raising awareness of the difference. And last year we had over 7.5 million children across the country to participate in the week. And this year we want to reach even more children, and we'd love you to participate. So as I said, the campaign week starts with Odd Socks Day on Monday 13th of November. Odd Socks is all about having fun while spreading an important message that we're all unique and different, and that should be celebrated. And our call to action this year is Make a Noise About Bullying, and I'm just going to share with you a brief campaign video we have created.
Too often, we are silent when we see bullying take place.
Silent about the hurt bullying causes.
And silent when we hear bullying dismissed as just banter.
It doesn't have to be this way. This Anti-Bullying Week,
let's come together
to have discussions about what bullying means to us
and what we can do to stop bullying.
From the playground to Parliament,
and our phones to our homes.
Let's make a noise about bullying.
So on Monday 13th of November, we're asking everyone to make collective noise about bullying at 9:15, wherever that is, on the school playground or at assembly. We'd love you to participate. And you can also join us on social media by recording your own video messages and sharing them, and also tagging us. Please remember to tag us so we can see all of your content.
Too often, we are
So I hear you ask, what does Anti-Bullying Week achieve? So last year we reached over 7.5 million children and young people across the country, and 80% of the schools took part in the Anti-Bullying Week. Over 280,000 Anti-Bullying Week scores were being downloaded last week alone, and we're very proud of this. So the impact is huge. 93% of young people told us that they think Anti-Bullying Week helps raise awareness of bullying, and 86% of young people told us that they think Anti-Bullying Week helps schools to tackle bullying. We have received some amazing comments, both from teachers and young people alike. One young person said that Anti-Bullying Week literally saved my life, which is just so heartwarming. And another said that Anti-Bullying Week helps those who are being bullied to come forward. And now I'm going to share with you our video that we've created for secondary schools. Hope you like it as much as we do.
Face to face or through a phone.
Bullying makes people feel alone.
Staying silent, is it wise?
Do you know the impact it has on our lives?
Going home wondering,
what could it be?
Was it banter?
Or was it bullying?
Of course, we won't like everyone.
We don't always agree.
But we can choose respect and unity.
And just because it is,
doesn't mean it has to be
a place of bullying
or negativity.
Consider the impact of that DM or text.
Think of the repercussions, what will be next.
You can reach out with your helping hand.
Or maybe you can be the one
to take a stand.
So let's bring bullying to an end.
Think of the ways you can defend.
Let's make some noise. Let's hear your voice.
Make a noise about bullying.
Together, we can make it stop.
And now I will hand you back to Martha.
Thanks, Pybee. So yes, we've created lots and lots of resources for you for this year to bring the theme of Make a Noise About Bullying to life in your school. Next slide, please, Pybee. So we have created 2 school packs, one for primary school and one for secondary school. All of the activities can be adapted and changed to suit the needs of your children. They include lots of different resources, including lesson plans, assembly plans, cross-curricular ideas, and I'm going to show you some of them in just a second. We've developed them in-house, but also with the support of Nottingham Trent University, and Professor Lucy Betts is going to join us in a minute to talk to us about the theme around banter and bullying, because banter is an area that we really want to focus on this year. As you'll see in the chat, Vanessa is posting lots of different links to the resources that we're talking about over the course of the session. That's just to help you if you want to click and find out more about them directly whilst we're doing the session. But don't feel like you have to note down all of the links. We will send you everything, and everything is on our website already. Next slide, please, Pybee. So the primary school pack, as I said, it's got lesson plans in. This is, you won't be able to read all of this now, but we've got a lesson plan which could be split into 2 lesson plans or condensed down into 1, and you can pick and choose the different kinds of activities that you want to take part in. The lesson plan focuses particularly around banter and bullying, and really understanding when banter goes too far. Next slide, please, Pybee. We've got lots of different videos involved in it, and also some questions about how can you banter with friends, and when does that go too far, and do we really understand what banter is and what it isn't. And so this is an example of the PowerPoint presentation that comes along with the lesson plan, and you'll find those all on our website. Next slide, please, Pybee. So here you've got an example of a handout as well that comes with it, where this is an example of an activity where we have designing a bantometer, where we see where something is friendly banter and when it's starting to tip into something that might not be banter anymore. So it's just an example of some of the handouts that we have that sit alongside the school pack. Next slide, please, Pybee. We really love this activity, which we've created as part of the resource as well. This is an example of an activity that we have, which we're calling miscommunication activity. And we ask young people to stand up and say this sentence, give each word to one young pupil, and then ask them to emphasize one of the words over the other. So for example, with this sentence, I know that you like that YouTuber, winky face. The first go that you would say is, I know you like that YouTuber. And the second line would go, I know you like that YouTuber. And the third line would go, I know you like that YouTuber. And the idea is that we explore with pupils about how we can miscommunicate and how we emphasize words, and particularly how when you deliver those words online, things can be very much misinterpreted, and interpretations of how you say things can change based on how you say it or how you read something online in particular. So that's just an example of one of the activities that we have. Next slide, please, Pivy. So that's the primary school pack. So we have a lesson plan, assembly plan, and cross-curricular ideas. And the same goes for our secondary school pack. So this is an example of our secondary school assembly, which is about 20 minutes long. You won't be able to read all of this now. You can go and have a look at it later on. But just to show you that we do have an assembly plan that's focused around the theme and has a video associated with it as well. Next slide, please, Pivy. And they come with, each has a PowerPoint presentation, both for the assembly and for the lesson. And this is an example of one of the quotes that we've used to illustrate with the lesson plans. And this is from a Holocaust survivor and human rights campaigner. And what they said was, what hurts the victim most is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but the silence of the bystander. And so it gives you some examples of how we're trying to really use the theme of Make a Noise About Bullying to encourage young people to think about how they can make sure that they don't stay silent when they see bullying taking place, and how they can raise the alarm. Next slide, please, Pivy. So you can see here, as we said, and we'll talk more in just a second when Lucy joins us, about how we're trying to explore the role of banter and bullying, especially in the secondary school context. So these are some of the examples of the slides from our PowerPoint presentation as well. Next slide, please, Pivy. So with the secondary school lesson plan, we've got examples of cross-curricular activities as well. Here you'll see there are history examples, so making sure that you're using Anti-Bullying Week to really go through the whole curriculum. Where we know anti-bullying activities can go wrong is where it feels like it's just one lesson or just one thing to mark Anti-Bullying Week, and actually having that weave throughout the curriculum and having the messages from Anti-Bullying Week, Make a Noise, weave throughout the curriculum can really help to get a really authentic, good a range of activities taking place. Next slide, please, Pivy. So all of the school packs are mapped against the curriculum, and that goes for England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So we've got one school pack this year, which covers England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And we're hoping that in the next few weeks, we'll be able to provide a Welsh language version of the school packs as well. So do keep checking back onto our website if you need that, and we'll make sure we get it over to you. So each of the school packs are mapped against the curriculum in case you need to evidence that at any point. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm going to hand over to Luke now, who's going to talk to you about our School Staff Award.
Thank you, Martha. Hi, everyone. So we are holding our School Staff Award again this year. I believe this is our third year doing it. And for this award, pupils can nominate teachers and school staff in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland that have gone above and beyond the call of duty to prevent and respond to bullying and to raise awareness of bullying in school. All nominees will receive a certificate, and there will be a primary and secondary school winner from each of England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So there'll be 6 winners in total. Thanks to Radnor Fam, each winner will receive a year's worth of Radnor products. In England and Wales, Radnor Fam is also providing the winners with an overnight stay at the 5-star Celtic Manor Resort. And in Northern Ireland, they're providing the winners with £200 worth of Canopy and Star gift cards for a glamping stay of their choice. So I personally am quite jealous of whoever's going to be winning that. We would also like to take this opportunity to give thanks to Bullies Out, who is helping to sponsor and run the award in Wales. So the deadline for nominations is 5 p.m. 20th of October, so this Friday. So you have less than 5 days now until the deadline. So the final straight. If your school hasn't made any nominations yet, please do consider participating. If you're based in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and if you're an organisation which works with schools, please do give the final promotion to your audience. So hopefully a link to the School Staff Award will be appearing in the chat. And yeah, if you want to find out any more and make a nomination, please look there. Next slide, please. Thank you, Pivy. So we also know that parents and carers play an important role in anti-bullying work. This is why we have developed with Kidscape a parent and carer pack to help bring Anti-Bullying Week and Odd Socks Day to life at home. The resources will help parents and carers start a conversation about bullying, no matter the age of their children, and give other ideas about anti-bullying work at home. You can see some of the pages from the pack on the screen now, and it includes reflections on questions like, how do I know my child is being bullied? When should I step in? What advice can I give my child? So I am now going to hand you over to Professor Lucy Betts of Nottingham Trent University. Over to you, Lucy.
Thanks, Luke. I'm very briefly going to talk about the distinction between banter and bullying, which Martha's already alluded to. So if I could have the next slide, please. We want to make it really clear that banter can be a really positive thing for young people and children to engage in. And we see it as the playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks. But crucial to this is how we interpret it. So we recognise that banter may appear aggressive in nature, but often between friends, it can be interpreted with friendly effect and be a reciprocal form of communication where both parties join in. If I can have the next slide, please. And with what we're terming friendly banter, what's really important is there isn't any intent to cause harm or distress to the children engaging in that exchange, and it's a way of promoting and maintaining social relationships. And we really want to emphasize that it's dyadic in nature, so both parties engage in it, and it's almost a back and forth between those two parties and showing acceptance within the group. And if we can have the next slide, please. However, we are very aware that there is a fine and subjective line between banter and bullying, and this line can be different for everybody and it can vary according to the context. So there are 8 different ways that we think banter may become bullying, and these include a range of things such as the topic, the context, whether or not it's repeated and how many times it's repeated, the intent behind it, the size of the audience and the number of people witnessing it, and whether it's in a more private space or a public space. And then finally, how the person on the receiving end reacts to it, and for the online environment, how emojis are used. And I think I'm going to hand over to Luke.
Perfect, thank you, Lucy. Hi, everyone. So next slide, please. Okay, so just a reminder, Odd Socks Day this year will be taking place on Monday, the 13th of November to kickstart Anti-Bullying Week. So for anyone not familiar with the day, it is an opportunity to encourage people to express themselves and celebrate their individuality and what makes us all unique. All you need to do to take part is to wear odd socks and donate £1 if you can. We're delighted that for the 7th year running, we are partnering with our ABA patron, CBBS and CBBC star Andy Day and his band Andy and the Odd Socks. They're producing another song to celebrate Anti-Bullying Week, so keep an eye and an ear out for it. And if you would like to be in the running to win a visit to your school from Andy and the Odd Socks, please tag us on social media in posts of your school in Odd Socks and use the Anti-Bullying Week and Odd Socks Day hashtags. For more details about that, all that can be found in our social media toolkit, which we'll be discussing a bit later. Next slide, please. So we have everything you need to get involved in Odd Socks Day for free, be it at your school or in the workplace. Our school pack includes book bag flyers, posters, handouts, and an assembly lesson plan. All the ideas in our materials are designed to help children and adults in a school or early years environment to think about how bullying affects us and what to do if you're worried about bullying and why it's important that we are all unique. However, it's worth noting that Odd Socks Day isn't just for schools and children. Anyone can take part at home, in school, in the community or at work. That's why Odd Socks Day 2023, we have created a work pack that contains everything you need to make it happen in your workplace, including social media advice, flyers, and how to donate. So next slide, please. So on the screen, you can see some of the flyers and posters I just mentioned about in the 3 packs, which includes a pledge post that young people can fill in, a general anti-bullying week poster where you as a school can add the details of support staff, alongside a general flyer with information about the day. So I believe I'm handing you back over to Martha. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Luke. So over the years, this will be my, I think, 11th or 12th anti-bullying week. Over the years, we've kind of developed some tips and some advice that we have for schools about how they can make sure that we get ready for anti-bullying week in the most appropriate way. So next slide, please, Ivy. This is an example of last year's a school that got involved in anti-bullying week last year, and they said that this year we had a full school anti-bullying week from foundation up to year 6. Although teachers had initial ideas about what we should be doing, the children led the activities and delivered their ideas to others across the school. This was shown through the whole school anti-bullying video that we created, and plans for this are already being put into place for next year. So it just shows you how important it is to be thinking about involving young people and delivering anti-bullying week in the best way possible. What we tend to find is that schools that just have one lesson, for example, or just put a few posters up without thinking across the whole school piece, don't have as impactful an anti-bullying week as we probably could have. Next slide, please. So here are some other examples of other schools that have taken part in anti-bullying week. So the first one looks particularly about pupil voice and using anti-bullying week to help plan anti-bullying activity. The school started making plans for anti-bullying week in advance and used their school council to ensure pupils took the lead in planning and ideas. So use those opportunities to think about how young people can get involved in planning for anti-bullying week and telling you about how they feel about anti-bullying activity in your school. It's a great opportunity to hear from them about how they feel about bullying in their school. Next one, activities and competitions. So during the week, this school ran an Odd Socks Day competition. It had a prize and trophy for the winner. It had anti-bullying information shared with parents, really vital to think about how we can involve parents in anti-bullying week. And the theme last year was reach out. So they had reach out activities that were planned throughout the week. The one underneath it actually used local news to help with the message for anti-bullying week. So they had a whole school reaching out activity in the playground and even attracted the attention of their local newspaper, who reported on their successful anti-bullying week activities. If you have any need for press release or quotes or anything like that, please do get in touch with us on our email address to share that with us, and we love to champion what you're doing as well. So one school really wanted to look at the impact of anti-bullying week, and it said that it felt pride and positivity for the pupils and gave them a clear understanding, the pupils a clear understanding of what bullying is, understood by the whole school community, and that continued to reach out beyond anti-bullying week. So thinking about how you can influence your whole year's anti-bullying activity through your work for anti-bullying week is vital. Next slide, please, Ivy. So involving your pupils, think about what they'd like to do in the week. Find out from them about bullying in their school community. As I said, it's a really useful opportunity to find out how they feel about bullying and to match it up with school staff and parents as well. Allow people to deliver, perhaps part of an assembly, or create some sort of activity that we can do together. Review your current school anti-bullying policy and make recommendations. It's really vital to think about what your current policy looks like and whether or not people understand it. Do you have a shared definition of bullying, for example? And also pupils could make a fundraising event as well, some sort of fundraising or awareness raising event as well. Next slide, please, Ivy. It's really important as well. Obviously, bullying, we know that bullying affects about 30% of children over the school year. So it's likely that some of the pupils that you're working with would have been involved in bullying in some way, whether it be experiencing bullying, it could be that they've seen bullying taking place, or that they've even perpetrated bullying as well. So these activities can sometimes be quite upsetting at times for pupils, or it might raise some issues. Be ready for that, be able to answer, be aware of what your anti-bullying policy says in your school, and be able to address that. If there's any pupils that you think might find some of the activities difficult, pre-warn them about what's going to be happening, ask for their feedback, check in with them if they're okay, but just be aware that of the pupils that you know really well that might find some of the issues challenging. Next slide, please, Pivy. So when you're delivering, we're really proud of our materials, and we hope that you find them really useful. We get really good feedback on them, and they're downloaded hundreds of thousands of times each year. But what's really vital is obviously know your school and your pupils best. So make sure that you check through the resources really thoroughly beforehand. Check to see if there are any changes in any pupils' behaviours during or after the session, and try to avoid pupils disclosing their own personal incidents or specifics around their personal experiences within the school class, and talk about how you can come and talk to me afterwards. One thing to think about is that we have quite a few examples in the materials as well, so case study examples that pupils can work through. Do check before, this is just a bit of advice, to check before the names in those case studies, because you can easily edit them, but what can be quite tricky is if you've got the name of somebody who's in your classroom, for example, within the case study, and that can be quite challenging as well. So check things like that before you deliver the materials. Next slide, please, Pivy. Use Anti-Bullying Week and all your activity as a chance to really tell pupils how they can report bullying or anything that they're worried about in relation to bullying. Expect when you're first doing your activity for Anti-Bullying Week, do expect to see a spike in reported bullying, for example. That doesn't necessarily mean you've got a significant problem. It just means that children are talking about bullying, and it might raise some of those things for them. There are people, make sure that you tell them there are people who care and can help if they're struggling with anything that's related to bullying, and also tell them where they can find their school's anti-bullying policy, your definition of bullying, for example, and things like that. Next slide, please, Pivy. Right, so I'm going to hand over to Pivy, who's going to talk to you about our social media campaign.
Thank you, Martha. So every year we see schools getting involved on social media, and we love seeing all the amazing things that you do for Anti-Bullying Week. We have created a social media toolkit, which is on our website, and that gives you all the information that you need to get involved on social media. As you can see here, we have a lot of different events taking place, and I just wanted to share with you some of the events because there are so many. So, as I said, on Monday 13th at 9:15, we'd love you to join us in making big noise to showcase that you're an anti-bullying school. So whatever this is, at school assembly or on the playground, please join us in making noise about bullying. And on Wednesday 15th of November at 4 p.m, we're organizing an Anti-Bullying Week school practice sharing event. This live webinar will showcase the fantastic work of schools who have achieved the gold award on our free whole school anti-bullying program, United Against Bullying. The schools themselves will share examples of actions that they have taken while participating in our program, and how they have had a positive impact on their pupils and the whole school community. And on Thursday, 16th of November at 12:30, we will have an online panel discussion about banter and bullying. Lucy, who's here today, will be at that event together with Martha, and also Marcus Leon from the Avenue Youth Centre and some schools. And then finally, there are so many different things that you can do on Anti-Bullying Week, and we love you to take part. Please use the hashtags Anti-Bullying Week, Make Noise, and Odd Socks Day, so we can see the content when you create it and share it on socials. And just a few words about fundraising. So we don't receive any government funding for Anti-Bullying Week, and we have never charged for any of the Anti-Bullying Week resources, and we definitely want to keep them free. We'd love it, though, if you are able to do any fundraising for the week. After saying that, it's totally optional, though. We know that there are lots of different demands. So one of the ideas that you could do is just to encourage people to donate either £1 or 50p on Odd Socks Day. Or perhaps you'd like to organize an event to sell cakes during the week, or some sort of a sponsored activity like knitting socks for Odd Socks Day. However, as I said, these are all optional events, so we just appreciate your support. And now I will play the primary school video, which I hope you love as much as we do.
How can you make a noise about bullying?
Tell a trusted adult, like your parent or a teacher, about the situation.
Or someone you know and feel comfortable speaking to about it.
If you don't feel like it's your place to say, then you can give advice and tell them to tell a teacher or someone that they trust.
Be with them, make friendship with them, but whenever the bully comes by, I'll just try and comfort them not to get worried because I'm there with them. Have an assembly about anti-bullying so everyone knows about it.
Posters to give to the school to hang up around the school and the playground.
Know who your trusted adults are so that you can speak to them. Always speak up. Try and do something about it if you do see bullying. If you had a superpower to help you make a noise about bullying, what would it be?
To give courage to people so they can stop bullying.
If somebody's getting bullied and they don't want to share it, could read their mind and see if they're getting bullied and if they're worried?
Teleport there and help them just in time.
I would probably fly, because if I can fly, then I can see bullying from bird's eye view. I can be flying and oh no, bullying. Then I fly down and I stop the bully. Together we can make it stop.
Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. So that is all of our anti-bullying week plans. Oh, we can move on to the next slide, please, Ivy. So that's all of our anti-bullying week plans. We hope that you're excited as we are about getting ready for anti-bullying week, and we are here to promote your activity, to answer any questions that you have, and to really help you to make anti-bullying week as much of a noise as we possibly can. So in that vein, before we close, we are very happy to answer any questions that you have. You can put it into the Q&A chat. I saw a few people with their hands up. We've got one question that's just come in. How would you recommend to get children with SEN involved in anti-bullying week? Well, so we would absolutely recommend to get children with SEN involved in planning for anti-bullying week. We do have some easy read versions of the definition and lots of resources around supporting children with SEN to prevent bullying on our website as well. We can share those with you if you drop us an email if there's anything that you can't find on there. So it would very much depend on the different needs that young person has, depending on how they would get involved, but all of the resources are written in a way that means that you can pick and choose different activities. You can use different activities from different sessions, but if you've got any problems at all, please do get in touch with us. So thanks for that question. Any other questions before we close?
I have just seen one question in the chat. It is how can young people who do not wear socks on their feet participate in Odd Socks Day?
That's a great question. Thanks, Luke. So we know that what's the great thing about Odd Socks is that it's an inclusive event, because nobody has to have a really expensive outfit or anything like that. What we'd recommend is that if there are some children who you think are either not going to be able to wear odd socks for any reason, or are going to struggle with change, because some children find changing uniform and doing things like that a bit of a challenge, what we would recommend is really pre-preparing those children. So thinking beforehand. There's some tips in our Odd Socks Day pack about this as well. So pre-preparing, talking to them about that they'll be wearing odd socks. If there's for any reason why they can't wear odd socks, they could wear socks on their hands, or they could wear like a different outfit or something to kind of make them stand out if they wanted to. Or if they don't want to take part, it's completely fine. The great thing about Odd Socks Day is it's about what celebrates us what makes us all unique. So championing that, if children don't want to take part, is absolutely fine as well. So so that's what we'd say about that one too. I think there's a couple of messages, a couple of questions in the chat now. Where can we access the videos for closer to the time? Great question. So if you go onto our website, which is anti-bullyingalliance.org.uk, all of the resources are based there. So if you go straight to Anti-Bullying Week and find the school resources, all the videos are there and ready for you at that time, whenever you're ready. And if you are missing anything, or you want a logo that you want, or some sort of social media assets, just drop us an email and we can send you a link. But hopefully, Laura, everything is there ready for you. There's another question in the chat. Do you have any training for anti-bullying coordinators in schools? That's a great question. We absolutely do have training. We have free online CPD training courses. There's 13 of them, different courses based on different areas of anti-bullying work, and they're completely free and they're all CPD certified, and you can take part in them at any point, any time that works for you. And we've also got some free webinars as part of our United Against Bullying program. So if you head over to our website and you go to our events page, you can see all of the training sessions that you can take part in as well, and they're all free too. I think Des, do you have your hand up? Luke, I should have asked you, but I don't know if people can shout out.
We can give it a shot. It says allowed to talk, so let us give it a try for you, Adrian.
Okay.
1 second.
Des, can you hear us?
I don't think we're having any luck. If you can put your question in the chat, we can read it out.
Thanks, Luke. Do you have any training? Do you have any training to help with interventions? Yes, we do. So our United Against Bullying training has lots of tips and work around preventing, reporting and recording and responding to bullying. If there's anything in particular, if there's a particular area, so you just want to look at response, for example, responding to bullying incidents, we have online CPD courses just focused on responding to incidents. And we also have lots of tools on our website that will help you around specific areas. So if you drop us an email and let us know what specific type of intervention you're looking for, we can point you in the right direction for that too. Okay, well, from what I can see, that is all the questions that we have. Just a massive thank you for all of our email address. We'll put that into the chat, if Vanessa, if you don't mind putting our email into the chat. So thank you all very much for coming along to the session. We are very excited about Anti-Bullying Week and everything that it could be, and so we want to help you in any way you can, as I've said. So just get in touch with us, and thank you all so much for making a noise about bullying this Anti-Bullying Week.